Hello guys and welcome to the channel. This is Baverroll. In today's video we'll be talking about exciting news about new equipment coming to the game with the launch of the expansion Secret of the Obscure, which is Relics. We're gonna be talking about everything they told us, what they didn't tell us, and what you should do in order to prepare for them before the launch. So what are Relics? Basically, they are the concept that ArenaNet trying to focus more on the core game, and so that rune need a new design. This is what they tell us in the start of the newsletter. But Relics are basically a new equipment type that are trinkets. As you can see in this picture here, they are next to your accessory, and this is an example of Relic. And Relics are supposed to take the role of the last tier in rune setups. As you can see, in Guild Wars 2 we have 6 armor pieces, and in every armor piece we can put a single rune for a single slot. And if you reach 6 runes, you can have 6 tiers. You go through tiers every time you put an extra rune. So basically this is how it will look. Since I have 6 runes, I would have every tier here. Every time you put another rune, you go to the next tier. And rune serves this purpose that you always have to put one rune in every armor piece. You can't mix and match of them because they keep getting more stronger the more you move up to the last one, the 6th one, and the 6th one usually is the most important. So the idea is to remove the 6th tier and put it into the Relic, and you can have stats on your runes, whatever you want. You want power, you want healing, and whatever that special effect you took the rune for, you can choose different one from the Relic. So instead of being stuck for a rune because of a special effect, or stuck in rune because you wanted a specific stat so you got the best it's possible, you can separate them and have exactly what you want. However, that seems to leave a lot for imagination. The 5 tiers before the 6 are not always a stat. Sometimes it's boon duration, sometimes condition duration, sometimes it reduces incoming condition like this one, antitoxin. Sometimes it gives you boon, for example, which is a special effect. Like for example, Rune of the Rage in the 4th tier, it gives you boon on a cooldown, it gives you fury, and then another special tier in the 6th tier. Also Rune of the Thief, which they already showed us the relic for it or talked about it, which give you an extra stat on the 6th part. So since you're removing this stat, are you nerfing the rune twice basically? That leaves a little bit for questioning. And they give us 3 examples of relics at this point, which is Relic of the Thief, the Sephiroth, and a new one for the expansion, which is the Wizard Tower. So for the Thief, as now of the game, the 6th tier gives you 125 precision and increased strike damage dealt by 10% when striking in a flank position, behind or the side. And obviously all defined bosses, defined bar bosses work as a flank all the time. And the expansion, it will give you stacks of 1% strike damage, maximum of 5 stacks, and will refresh duration for 6 seconds every time you land it. How? It's upon striking an enemy with either a weapon skill that have a cooldown or use resources. So basically like initiative for Thief or cooldown for a normal class like Ranger or whatever. So it is already nerfed, it's maximum of 5, but it will be very spammable. You need to flank or get only the bonus while flanking. You can get the bonus all the time simply by hitting few skills, and you can keep stacking it for the rest, the entire duration of combat as 5% increase. Now the other 2 they showed us is Relic of the Sephiroth, and also it is changed from the game. The last tier on the Sephiroth rune giving you increased duration to your super speed and 5 seconds of super speed every time you use an elite skill. However, the Relic, it will summon a crystal that apply protection and resolution to allies after using elite skill, and the duration of this crystal to stick around will scale with the recharge of the used skill. It have a cooldown of 30 seconds for summoning itself. So if you use a mantra like for Firebrand on elite skill, you still need 30 seconds to actually get the crystal up. But if you use a very long cooldown like 120 seconds or whatever, it still has the same cooldown, but you're gonna only be able to summon it on 120, so I guess that will still be rewarded by keeping the crystal for much longer than a small cooldown that will be able to get it every time of cooldown of 30 seconds. The last one is a new one actually for the expansion, which is Relic of the Wizard Tower. also have a 30-second cooldown, also happen on using elite skill, but it will shield yourself with a projectile reflecting barrier and summon in a wave that pulls enemies toward you. So relics technically open up a lot of theory crafting because they don't work like normal runes, they feel more like a skill. So let's talk about the crystal, for example. Does it have a health bar? Can it be destroyed? Can the health bar be big? Can you use it as a body block for non-piercing projectiles? Stuff like that. Or even if it's not targetable, it's giving you some very decent boons. And if the crystal applies a protection and resolution, does it keep pulsing in a specific area? It can be used for many things, like for ranger, for example. It can give you a very tanky style while using something like Entangle, or a very tanky style also while reviving with Glyph of the Stars. It's basically you can get protection back on Glyph of the Stars and add a resolution. Also the other one, you can CC people, get an extra CC on something like Entangle because of the waves, or in any other skills, or even Glyph of the Stars to interrupt your enemy from finishing your downed ally while reviving them with Glyph of the Stars on Druid. And also giving yourself reflecting projectile, which mean people cannot interrupt you while you reviving. There is so many ideas only showing us those two. So how many relics will be getting? On the launch of the expansion, we will be having 40 core relics. You can craft them, you can trade with them, they are easy to use, easy to obtain, I guess, because they will be in trading post and everyone can simply buy them once people start crafting them or obtain them from any other method. And 12 expansion relics that's supposed to have something connect them to the lore and to the spirit of the expansion, as they told us. So the cores one will be available to every player regardless of their ownership of an expansion or not. And there will be added more relics later over time as part of ongoing commitment to improving the core game future. So they say that about only the core one, which makes me think that the expansion one will not be tradable. You will have to obtain them with a method that in the game for that, and the expansion relics will be obtainable through collections, achievement, or story progression, and you cannot trade them. Once you obtain any of them, you can go to an NPC relic vendor that you can buy more from him, I guess, to put more into other characters. But you can only obtain them through a playing or progressions, which makes them even not craftable according to what they told us, unlike the core ones. And that gets me to also another good news. Later, not on release, but later they will be introducing legendary relic. And as a compensation to everyone who crafted legendary runes like me, if you're 7 legendary runes, you will unlock faster progress toward this relic, the legendary one, which very vague. We don't know what does it mean by significant progression cut for us, so I'm not sure. And the bad news in it for me or anyone who had a legendary rune, that we're gonna be messing around not accessing everything immediately through our legendary, because it's not coming on release. We're gonna have to wait a lot until we are able to craft it once it lands in the game. And also all the relics that they shared, the 3 here, are still able to be changed if they are not finalized, and relics will have different functions in PvE, PvP, and World vs. World game modes, because some can be very strong, obviously, in PvE, and you can take that with you to World vs. World or PvP. Now also on release, how to prepare for the incoming relics. Any character that's level 60 or higher will receive a relic chest to get started with the new system, with a choice of 3 core relics. Exact number is subject to change, so they are not really committing into it. And additional core relics will not be account bound and can be shared between players, no matter how you get them. So the ones you will get us for every character will probably be account bound, so people don't flood the market with them with very expensive prices and all the rich people just trying to swoop them off the trading post. So to prepare for this, if you have 5 character, 6 character, whatever, make sure every character at least level 60 or above. If you bought more character slots and they are empty, or you had any plan with them, make a character, use Tomes of Knowledge to level them to 60 or more as fast as you can do. My point is, have all your characters ready to receive those boxes as much as you can, in order to have the maximum amount of relics to choose between before we can be able to get more or craft more or whatever how we can obtain them. So to summarize, relics are coming with the new expansion. They are a new trinket type. Here they are next to your accessories. They are probably reworked, acting like skills. Very exciting how they will be in the game. They are very different than how rune used to work. Runes might be reworked because they are now look like they are 5 tiers only, which leave us with 6 runes. So what the 6 rune will gonna be doing, we don't know yet. Maybe they will split the stats and makes you need all the runes to one kind or whatever to have the stats. We simply don't know how the rune technically will work. They will be a legendary relic later with the updates of the expansion, but not on release, and everyone who crafted legendary runes for every rune from the 7 runes, as they told us, will lower the amount of progress that you need to obtain the legendary relic. We will be compensated with significant progress toward unlocking legendary relic, basically. That we don't know what you mean by significant, but that's it. There will be 40 relic on release core relics that are tradable and everyone can obtain them, and 12 expansion relics that are not tradable, that can be unlocked through achievement, story progression, and collections. And there will be a vendor NPC that you can buy more from once you unlocked any type of relic to other account characters. They will be adding more core relics to the game with time as a commitment to this system, and anyone can simply use them. They'll probably be craftable also and tradable and everything. And with the launch, they will give us to every character above level 60 a chest to have 3 choices of new relics. So make sure you have all your characters leveled up, and you have, if you have empty slots, put a character there and get it to 60 or higher. That will be it for the video. Tell me what you think in the comments, or if you think I missed anything, write it down so anyone else would be knowing, and I'll be seeing you next time. Peace.